Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Josh. Welcome back to another video. And yeah, it's been a couple of days since I've done a video like this. My usual Josh Just Talk videos or whatever, where I usually talk about different topics, whether it be games or toy related and whatever. So of course, I feel like making this video was pretty much inevitable because it's pretty much everywhere by now. I think we all know what's happened. Okay, it's like this is not just something that's been kind of like passed by and then it's like, okay, it's done and over with. No, surprisingly, the situation is actually still relevant, which is interesting but kind of sad at the same time. Not to mention that I wasn't really planning on making this video only because, well, it's not really part of my channel. Why am I talking about some drama that happened at the Oscars? Not to mention that, not a lot of people really like to tune into the Oscars and whatever, and everybody got their own different reasons why. I only know about it because my parents love watching it, and they pretty much witnessed what happened. The whole Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock, basically. And, I guess I don't want to say I'm giving off my opinion because if I'm being honest, I pretty much agree with the majority of people. I think it was very wrong. Okay. I don't think that was the most smartest thing to do. Obviously, not to mention that you're doing that in front of like millions and millions of people that are watching, so that's probably not the smartest thing to do. I know that that's pretty obvious, but you'd be pretty surprised how many people actually defend Will's actions. And I don't remember who it was. I know it was some politician. I'm really not too sure who it was. They posted on Twitter how they actually defend, Will because, well, to make a long story short, what happened is that Chris Rock, he basically made a G.I. Jane joke because Will Smith's wife suffers from alopecia. And if you don't know what alopecia is, well, I'm going to give you biology lesson. Okay, hopefully I said that right. Basically, it's when people starts to lose their hair due to stress and anxiety, and I would know because I also did suffer that issue at one point. I remember one day I woke up. My mother, she noticed I got like this really, really big bald spot at the back of my head. And it was pretty bad too. We didn't know what it was. We didn't even know alopecia existed. Of course, we didn't know. So of course we just kind of went straight to the hospital because, well, it was pretty scary. I mean, it's not every day that you start to lose hair like that, especially to that extent. So obviously it's pretty scary, right? Now, as you can see, I've pretty much maintained everything. I'm pretty much good. I mean, to be fair, I still have some spots here and there, but this is not about me. This is about, this situation because basically she was losing so much hair to where she got shaved her hair completely. It's all gone, basically. She's bald pretty much, right? And, obviously she like kind of, she brings it up and she's like, oh, I'm not gonna let this bring me down, and it's like, well, after this situation, I don't know how much true that is. Basically, Chris Rock, he was joking around as always at the Oscar. He was up in the front with everybody else watching, and then he's like, to be honest, I even forgot Will Smith's wife's name. I don't even know what her name is. But the reason why I don't got all the details because at first I didn't really care too much about it, or up until now. Because long story short, a lot of people don't like Will Smith right now. So let me get to the point. So basically, he was like, whatever. I love you, but G.I. Jane 2, he said something like that, right? Because G.I. Jane, that's a movie about a chick that goes to the military and she shaved all her hair bald. So obviously that's why he made the joke. But then a few seconds later, Chris Rock is like, you see Will Smith coming up, and then out of nowhere, he pretty much like, he slapped him. That's what he did. He did like a pretty hard slap too. And I'm like, wow. But it's like, you can like hear that. I mean, probably because of, the microphone and shit like that, but you get the point, right? And even the picture, there's that infamous picture of like when he slapped him. And you can see poor Chris being like, and I'm like, that's gotta hurt, a slap like that, you know? Next thing you know, he kind of went and you could see it like in his face, Will. You could see like the whole kind of pissed attitude he got. And obviously that's pretty rare, because everyone's kind of used to like how he acts and whatever, and nobody really thinks of him as like the angry person, obviously. So seeing him like that, it was pretty weird. It's like, wow. And mind you, when this thing came out in the US, the Oscars, obviously they didn't really show what happened. They kind of bleeped it out. They didn't even show like when Will Smith pretty much cursed Chris out. But then in other countries, like in Japan and stuff like that, they were airing the Oscars uncensored, which is great. And they pretty much showed what he said. And Will Smith was like, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." And then Chris was like, "Wow, dude." And everybody was like, "Oh." And it's like, you know, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist basically. And then he was like, "It was a GI Jane joke, dude," or something like that. And then, well, he said it again. "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." But he said it like really loudly too in his face. He was pissed, and I was like, "That's not good." And I think we all know what happened next. Basically, even after it was all over, that was pretty much the talk of everything. And listen, even I have to admit that ruins everything. Like he ruined it for everybody. I just have to say it like that. And I don't think I'm wrong when I say that, because everybody wants to kind of enjoy the Oscars the way they want to. No drama, no weird shit like that. No, nobody wants that. Of course not. But then this happened, and now it's the talk of everything. It's still relevant. People are still talking about it because now he's like, I forgot the name, at the Academy. Now they've pretty much banned him from ever coming back to it, and even in future events, he will not be welcomed, which is pretty bad. I don't you wouldn't want to have a reputation like that either. That screws you over. It's sad because his career was going just fine until he did this, and it's like the first thing in my mind that pops up is he was doing so well with his career with no problems or anything, and then this happened. And I know it's kind of weird that I say that because technically, uh, there's this kind of thing with him and his wife where she basically admitted that she did cheat on him, kind of. But I don't know. They kind of move on, just being like if nothing ever happened. So it's like, why though? And listen, I don't condone violence. I never will. You should never do this. But I just have to say this right now. The fact that he got mad at Chris Rock over a dumb little joke, right? Where was that anger towards the guy that cheated on your wife, though? Not to mention that even after Chris made that joke, she like rolled her eyes, and I'm like, why she actually got offended by that, right? That's weird. I thought she said that she's brave now. She accepts her alopecia. What happened to that? I don't understand. Because I'm guessing that he probably saw that, and that's kind of what probably triggered him. Some people were also wondering that if all these years he's been building up all this rage, but then he kind of took it out on Chris. And because I don't remember what it was, and personally, I don't really care, but I know that there was that weird talk thing that they both had, him and his wife, and basically that's when she kind of admitted to it, and you could kind of see the pain in his face. He didn't really like it that much. So honestly, it's like no matter how you look at this situation, it's pretty much fucked. This is all messed up. There's no right or wrong way of looking at it. It's just like, bro, you should not have done that. And yeah, you're gonna get idiots defending it, being like, "Oh, he was just protecting his wife," huh? And then you got other people that also suffer from alopecia defending him for it. But it's like, no, you slapped Chris in front of a million people. This could have been handled in a much more better and professional way. And look, as a famous actor, obviously, you got to be careful with your image because one little thing could screw you up, because it definitely did, because he literally had two projects in the works, and now he's pretty much been kicked out of both of them. They were going to work on Bad Boys 4. Now that's pending, so I don't know if he's been like suspended. I don't know the situation about that. He also had some sort of deal with Netflix, and now that's also been canned. So obviously nothing's really, nothing's good going for this guy. And on top of that, he did apologize, but a lot of people, including myself, even admit that it's just not enough. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty bad, And honestly, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but it's my opinion. Okay, so shut up. But I don't know what's worse, the fact that he went up there and slapped him, or the fact that he's basically defending his wife that honestly doesn't really deserve it, though. I'm just gonna say it. I don't understand. I don't know, she cheated on him, and it's like they kind of want to pretend everything's all right. Even after this whole situation blown up, I think she wrote some sort of tweet saying, "Oh, it's time to heal," or something like that. I remember she wrote something like that. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, "Oh, please shut up." That's not how you. Saying that is not going to make things better. It's, in fact, things gotten worse. Honestly, he had like, even Chris Rock, he had like some sort of show, And, literally after all this happened, everybody wanted to go to his show and be like, it's like, even when they went, technically you're not supposed to like film or bring any cameras, but somebody actually secretly filmed, the beginning of Chris Rock's show. And I obviously he didn't want to talk about it. You could definitely see that he's trying to avoid it, because even the police were kind of getting on his case, where they were like, "Hey, we could press charges for that, right?" And obviously he didn't want to stir up any type of trouble. I admittedly I could understand that. You don't want to cause any sort of drama. You don't want to make the situation worse than it already is. And I feel so bad for Chris, because he even says it that he's still trying to like take it in. He's still trying to, it's still kind of a shock to him. And even a lot of people even admitted that they're traumatized by that, and it's like, that sounds like that's not a little bit of an exaggeration, but to be honest, it's not hard to see why people feel like that, because this is supposed to be a nice big event. You're not supposed to get like this weird, out of nowhere scenario, and it's like that ruins it for everybody for sure. Instead of talking about the actors and the actresses that won the awards and talking about their success and how great they are, uh we're talking about this. And of course, as always, there's memes just spewing everywhere on YouTube and and other platforms too. Let's be real here. I've seen so much. Lately I've been playing Persona 5 Royale, and I'm not kidding you. There's like definitely memes where you see like Will Smith walking up, and then out of nowhere it shows you like you want to attack, you want to retreat, you want to use your persona stuff. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys look for that yourselves, because there's like a whole bunch. There's even my favorite one is the Marty and Oscar, because Chris Rock played as Marty in Madagascar, and then Will Smith played as Oscar from Shark Tale. So somebody did like a little animation of Oscar slapping Marty with the same audio from the Oscars, which is just hilarious, and that's just golden, honestly. Like, a part of me wants to find it and then re-upload it onto my channel, because it's just so funny. I want it to be known. That is honestly like the best memes I've ever seen so far. Yeah, and I guess before I end it, because, well, you guys pretty much know my opinion already. Of course, I don't agree with what happened, and I hope I don't get people in the comments defending this. I don't want to get attacked because of this. This is just my opinion, okay? People have asked me what I think, so I think it's fair that I shared my opinion on it, because if they want to know, I mean, okay, I don't mind. I don't think that's really something to be afraid of, especially if a good majority of the people agree that it's wrong. And I go, I'm gonna go back a little bit to the situation with the alopecia, because there were even like a lot of women saying that joke was offensive, even though I don't know. To me personally, that's not a bad joke. I don't understand. A GI Jane, it's not like it's if you watch the actual movie, it's not like she's a bad person or anything, is she? I don't know what's the scenario behind that. There's nothing wrong with a woman being bald. People can get bald for many reasons. We don't just have to assume that you got something wrong with you. Nobody should assume that you're sick or just mentally ill or whatever like that. It is what it is. You're bald, I'm not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm like too nice, and I'm basically I'm like, it is what it is. But no, of course you're gonna get these people being like, he was defending his wife. We women suffer from alopecia, and it's like, okay, all right, listen, look, okay, I understand. Okay, that's bad. I know how that is. All right, and I know what you're thinking, Josh. How would you know? Well, first of all, I just told you the story that I had a big bald spot at the back of my head. I still suffer from it a little bit too. Once in a while, I do find like some little patches here and there, and I try to cover it up the best way I can, because they do have medicine for that. And I don't know if it spreads everywhere else. I really, really don't know how this works. So this might not be alopecia. But I know that in my beard too. I remember I still feel it. I get like these weird bald spots, and I'm like, why? But they're like out of nowhere. There's no consistent pattern. So I'm like, okay, I'm losing my beard. So it's like I might as well just shave it off, because at least it's not that noticeable. But still, I don't know if that's part of the alopecia, but I'm just saying, it works in many different ways. So most likely his wife was that stressed out, because she even said it, that one day she was just pulling her hair and it just kind of came out, which that's gotta suck, but it's like, I want to feel bad, but at the same time, it's kind of hard for me too, especially since she technically cheated on him, and it's like, we're supposed to kind of pretend that nothing's ever happened. You know, they pretty much look at it as like an open relationship type of thing. And I'm like, okay, you know, at this point, this whole thing is just messed up. You just know there's no rhyme or reason to it. You might as well just call it a day and just like, okay, you know, obviously, will, you know, you're gonna get what you know deserve, basically. All right, I'm just gonna say it right now, you know, and he knows it too. He said that he's prepared for what's gonna happen next, and I'm like, well, you know, yeah, a lot of big things coming your way because literally. Even my mother too said the same thing. She don't even want to watch any of his movies anymore. I feel the same way. I'm like, this is it feels wrong. You know, you could have definitely done something different. The funny part is that there was even like this video I saw basically asking some of the actors what did they think, and I remember the first woman, she was like, "Oh, he was just defending his wife, you know, whatever." And then you got like John Leguizamo being like, "Yeah, you know, I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically he said something like, yeah, you don't have to think the joke is funny, but slapping him wasn't right either." So I'm like, okay, at least somebody's has some sense, you know. And if you don't know who John Lake, well, I hope you know, I'm gonna look it up too, just to make sure I don't get his name wrong. So he's the guy that played as Clown from that terrible Spawn movie, and I believe he also played as Luigi from the Super Mario movie, also known as the very first video game. Oh yeah, so it was okay. I was right. It was John Leguizamo. Okay, good. I didn't want to get my information wrong. Okay, that'd be terrible. Because you guys know when I do videos like these, I try my best to get my information right. So, yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. I don't really got anything else to say. I pretty much said what I want, you know? I don't think it's right. And yeah, I don't think I need to go into any more with it. So, we'll leave it at that. So, now that that's done and over with, of course, as always, I got some ideas, you know, kind of flying around. I've been pretty busy with Holothon. I don't know if you've seen the last couple of videos, but literally, like I've went to the same target like 3 times. I recorded all 3 times too, and it's like, damn, you find stuff like wow, and that's something I definitely want to talk about because I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't been keeping track. I don't know if this is the final week or if next week is the final week. I'm not too sure, but we'll definitely talk more about that later on. And of course, as you guys seen, I also found some new Godzilla MonsterVerse figures. I got the whole, you know, the Ferocious Kong, which I actually really like a lot. So that's nice. And a couple other things too. We'll get right on that, you know. And of course, I don't usually talk about topics like these, but if you guys want to see more stuff about this, you know, like related to this type of stuff, just let me know and I'll think about it. So until then, I hope you guys stay safe out there as always. You know, if you like what you saw, leave a like. Dislike it if you dislike it. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you guys. I want to say tomorrow, but you know, as always, I don't really know. I don't have a consistent schedule, so I don't know what's the deal's gonna be. But we'll see what happens. So until then, have a good day.